For nearly a decade, the Golden State Warriors were an unstoppable force that completely changed how basketball was played across the globe. Guided by Stephen Curry's generational shooting, Klay Thompson's lethal scoring, and Draymond Green's defensive genius, the Warriors reached 6 NBA Finals and hoisted 4 Larry O'Brien trophies between 2015 and 2022. They were the gold standard of modern sports dynasties. But today, the bright lights at Chase Center reflect a far different reality. Between emotional roster departures, restrictive salary cap rules, and an aggressive Western Conference, the championship blueprint is unraveling. Is this truly the final curtain call for Golden State's legendary run? Or can Stephen Curry work one last miracle? The splintering of the original core, Klay Thompson's exit. For 13 seasons, the big three of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green represented an unbreakable brotherhood. They were the second longest tenured trio in league history, serving as the foundation for every single championship ring in Bay Area history. That historic era came to an end in July 2024 when Klay Thompson departed Golden State in free agency to join the Dallas Mavericks. Following years of grueling injury rehabilitations, shifting rotational roles, and tense contract negotiations, Thompson chose a fresh start away from the franchise that drafted him. Breaking up the legendary Splash Brothers did more than just open a hole on the wing. It stripped the Warriors of their iconic identity and proved that the original dynastic core was officially fractured beyond repair. Behind the scenes, the psychological weight of this separation cannot be understated, as teammates and fans alike had to process the sudden absence of a player who defined an entire offensive philosophy. The locker room lost an irreplaceable veteran voice, who understood the championship pressure cooker better than almost anyone else in the league. Without his gravity on the perimeter, floor spacing shrank, forcing the coaching staff to completely redraw baseline out-of-bounds plays and setups that had worked seamlessly for over a decade. Opposing teams no longer had to worry about tracking 2 unstoppable off-ball shooters simultaneously, radically altering defensive scouting reports against Golden State every single night. Steph's solo load and the battle against Father Time. Even as he advances into his late 30s, Stephen Curry continues to put up elite all-NBA numbers, defying typical age curves with his legendary conditioning and perimeter range. However, expecting a single superstar to carry a franchise on his back, night after night, is no longer a viable championship strategy. Without another consistent, self-creating perimeter threat to draw double teams, opposing defenses are free to throw relentless blitzes and physical traps at Curry. While Steph remains capable of explosive 40-point performances, the sheer physical toll of playing heavy minutes just to keep Golden State competitive in regular season games leaves him drained by the time postseason pressure arrives. Every single possession requires maximum exertion, as defenders grab, hold, and chase him through endless screens without the relief valve of a secondary elite scorer. This heavy dependency accelerates physical fatigue, raising the risk of soft tissue injuries and robbing him of the explosive burst needed in crunch time moments. When the opposing defense's entire game plan boils down to stopping number 30 at all costs, the supporting cast must step up, yet too often, the offensive burden remains entirely on his aging shoulders, stretching his extraordinary capabilities to their absolute breaking point. The second apron. Financial handcuffs on the front office. During the peak of their championship run, Golden State's front office routinely outspent the rest of the league, using owner Joe Lacob's deep pockets to maintain top-tier talent regardless of luxury tax bills. But the NBA's latest collective bargaining agreement created strict penalty tiers known as the second apron, specifically engineered to prevent big-market teams from spending their way to dominance. Breaching these high-tax thresholds strips teams of crucial roster-building tools. It freezes future first-round draft picks, eliminates trade mid-level exceptions, and bans teams from aggregating salaries in trades. The Warriors can no longer simply throw money at problems or easily trade for high-salaried secondary stars, severely restricting their ability to build a championship-caliber supporting cast around Curry. General managers across the league now operate with a financial sword of Damocles hanging over their heads, where a single miscalculated max extension can lock a franchise into a rigid roster for years. The flexibility that once allowed Golden State to acquire crucial veteran depth on the buyout market or absorb disgruntled stars has vanished under the weight of these punitive luxury taxes. Consequently, front office executives must rely almost exclusively on bargain bin free agent signings and internal player progression to fill glaring roster holes. This economic straitjacket ensures that constructing a balanced, championship-contending rotation around an expensive superstar is harder now than at any point in modern league history. The Western Conference arms race in play in reality. While the Warriors have aged, the Western Conference around them has undergone a massive, high-speed youth revolution. Dynamic young squads like the Oklahoma City Thunder, Minnesota Timberwolves, and Denver Nuggets have built rosters packed with length athletic wing defenders and interior size specifically designed to exploit Golden State's smaller lineups. Instead of securing top playoff seeds and cruising into May as they did during the mid-2010s, the Warriors have frequently found themselves fighting just to survive the play-in tournament. When missing a single shot in a single elimination game determines whether your season ends in April, you are no longer a dominant dynasty, you are a team fighting for survival. The nightly grind of the West has transformed regular season matchups into absolute physical gauntlets, leaving veteran legs battered long before the postseason even begins. Athletic ascension across rival franchises means that teams once viewed as easy wins now feature elite shot blockers and hyper-athletic guards who hunt mismatches against Golden State's aging defensive rotations. Surviving this brutal conference landscape requires incredible depth, durability, and tactical adaptability qualities that become increasingly difficult to maintain when your core rotation lacks the youthful exuberance of your opponents. The failed dual timeline and young asset development. To avoid an eventual total rebuild, Golden State's management attempted to execute a dual timeline strategy, winning championships with Curry, Thompson, and Green today, while simultaneously drafting and developing young prospects like Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, and Brandon Podziemski for tomorrow. In execution, balancing these two goals created operational tension. Head coach Steve Kerr frequently prioritized veteran execution over developmental mistakes, leading to inconsistent minutes for younger players. Meanwhile, raw prospects often struggled to master Golden State's complex, motion-heavy read and react offense. Trying to build for the next decade, while simultaneously chasing rings right now, resulted in a team caught directly in the middle, neither young enough to rebuild, nor deep enough to dominate. The margin for error in developing high draft picks shrinks dramatically when your locker room features generational veterans accustomed to fighting for championships every single year. Young players caught in this transitional crossfire often suffer from stunted confidence, bouncing between explosive breakout performances and extended bench warmth due to a single defensive lapse. Ultimately, attempting to straddle two completely opposite phases of franchise evolution compromised the team's immediate title aspirations while failing to guarantee a seamless, star-studded handoff to the next generation. The Golden State Warriors gave basketball fans one of the most thrilling, dominant, and transformative decades in the history of professional sports. But as roster realities set in and the league continues to evolve, the era of total Bay Area dominance has reached its undeniable twilight. What do you think is the primary reason for the end of the dynasty Klay Thompson's departure? Harsh salary cap rules, or the rise of young Western Conference powers? Sound off in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next upload. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.